So let's see what we got. Let's see in Gladius. Set my flare counts to 3. And we got Grumpy also in an arrow. So I'm going to take out the arrow first, but I'm going to kind of separate him if I can. So he's going to come in and pass right past me. And he's also going to probably pass right past me. So here we go. So what I want to do is I want to use my lasers to drop the shields if I can. So his buddy's coming in. But he's not doing too good. So I want to kind of... Okay, so he's chased off. Now, I don't want to stay too fast, because then eventually what will happen is whoever's tailing me will eventually slowly come back around. So get my shields back up. Again, right? Try to drop his shields as best I can. Now, if they're smart about this, what they'll do is they'll have one guy, see how I'm dodging in like this? So now I'm going to switch targets. If I get the shields down, then I can release the hurt with the ballistics. And then there's the first pass down, and he's still coming back for a second pass. So now it's the dude down to a 1v1. And it's the same process here. Intercept that turn. Kind of cut him off. Here and in here. Now his shields are down. Now he's going to try and run. We want to stay as flat as we can during the chase. And there it is. We still got a decent amount of ballistics left. Alright, welcome back guys to today's video. There's actually quite a bit in this fight that I want to break down. We're going to talk about target switching, what times are good to do it, and kind of some situational tips or situational awareness tips that'll really help. And also mixed weapon loadouts. So you'll notice that I'm using buzzsaws on the top turret on the arrow, so 2 size ones, and I'm using panthers on my wingtips. And I have a dual stage trigger set up, so I'm independently firing each weapon group depending on the situation. And some tips we're going to walk through in this 2v1 situation of a arrow Gladius versus myself and an arrow, and with the mixed weapon loadout above Tatooine. So, oh, I'm sorry, Daymar. So, again, right? The big thing about fighting multiple opponents is you got to break it up into small chunks. I mean, like everything in life, right? Don't take it all on at once. Just take it in bite-sized pieces if you can. That's really the goal here, right? So you'll notice that the first pass, you know, the gentleman in the arrow, I believe it was the arrow. Actually, no, the Gladius ended up ripping right past me. So which gave me time to do 1 or 2 passes on this arrow coming up here. And what I did was, again, I'm only shooting right now with my lasers. And the reason I'm doing that is because even though I'm applying less overall DPS, like if I had a mono laser build, I would have applied a little bit more damage to him at this time. What I'm doing is I'm kind of softening him up for a more, I guess you could say, quicker kill later on. Now, I'm chasing this arrow, or I believe, actually no, I apologize, it's the Gladius. I'm chasing this Gladius, and he's now what's called stringing me out, which means he's flattening my overall trajectory. And his teammate, his wingman, is actually getting in behind me. And so what you want to do is, if you notice this and you're losing your target, it's okay to switch off, right? Now, the enemy team now needs to coordinate and communicate with each other like, okay, Avenger's off you, he's now on me, which gives time for the teammate to swing back around and re-engage, right? Now, in this right here is a good example again of like distances, right? If you're going to fly wingman with somebody, the best thing you can do is maintain distance with your teammate. Because if you don't have distance, what's going to happen is you're going to give your teammate too much time with whoever you're engaging alone. And if there's a skill difference between the two, you're going to put your wingman in a tough spot. So now here we go. His teammate, again, good communication on this team. He's re-engaged me, and he and the Gladius pilot has been what's called going defensive, which means he doesn't really have much. He hasn't put much effort into trying to shoot at me. He's just trying to waste my time as best he can. Now here's a good example of the multi-weapon loadout. Now I used my lasers to get his shields down, and as soon as his shields are down, I'm opening up with the ballistics and there goes a much faster kill than if I had full lasers. As well, I can fire my ballistic weapons independent from my recharge on my lasers, so that there's no time for him to really get his shields back, because I have consistent damage coming in. Right, this is one of the benefits to having a mixed weapon loadout. However, you have to really be careful with your ammunition. So just be aware of that. Again, only pull that trigger on ballistics when his shields are down. So here we go now into our 1v1 here. Same kind of procedure you saw from before, going into a kind of a corkscrew, looking at my vector indicator, keeping it nice and close to my target, putting it in the bottom left-hand corner, rolling myself through like this imaginary cylinder, using my S pattern to kind of dance left and right across his nose, using my upstrafe to cancel his momentum, so I'm giving myself the most stable shot I can. And here we have, again, shields down, ballistics coming in. It has, in my opinion, a psychological effect too. When people realize that they're getting engaged by ballistics, a lot of times they start to panic. And in this situation, the Gladius Pilot begins to panic because he knows, oh boy, my shields are down and I've got ballistics incoming. And he makes a big mistake here by disengaging, by exposing his back, so he doesn't go through me. He ends up turning around 180 degrees, telegraphing to me that he is going to try and run, which gives me time to respond and get the kill. There's the splash. So those small little things that people need to be aware of. If you're going to disengage, don't what's called telegraph. Telegraphing is what he did right here. Typically, when you're going nose to nose, you never break off. And right here, I noticed that his nose has completely broken track away from me and is looking for a way out. And when you see people breaking off in a nose-to-nose fight like this, like, he's not breaking off because he's losing momentum on his turn. He's not breaking off because he's slowly out of his turn rate or the distance. He's breaking off because he needs to get out. And what's happening is, when you pull your nose away, you're telling me where your intention is going. You want to intend to move your nose in that direction, which means I know the only way you're going to go is in that direction, which means I had plenty of time to slam the accelerator and keep my distance with him and stay within almost 300 meters the entire time with a full charge of lasers and ballistics. I mean, there's really not much that'll survive that, especially if you're at that distance. I mean, most of the shots will end up landing. So just be aware of that. If you're going to disengage, go through your opponent face to face instead of turning your back, telegraphing, and giving me time to get in behind you and punish a poor disengage. And as speeds start to finalize and as high-speed combat starts to get more refined, these types of mistakes are going to be more capitalistic for fighter pilots that are more aware that these are happening, and it's also going to be more dangerous for rookie pilots when they're trying to disengage now. So be aware of that in the future. This stuff like this will become more punishing. It's already punishing enough if you can predict or have the awareness to see when the run is going to happen and punish off that, right? So all in all, guys, a really nice 2v1, good training opportunity for myself and everyone who was involved. Mixed weapon loadouts are not my favorite because even though you do have a little more DPS if all weapons are firing, the thing that you end up giving up is you end up giving up sustained damage over distance with a full laser build and unlimited ammo, and you give up, instead of going full ballistic, having the shortest time to kill possible, because if you run out of ballistics almost as fast as if you run a half load as if you run a full load, you might as well just run a full rack of ballistics and just get the time to kill. If you're going to deal with an ammo shortage, you might as well get the low time to kill that goes along with it, instead of dealing with the low time to kill and the distance punishment. And the only thing you really gain is a slight increase in burst damage, but you've got to really, really be careful. I think a really great way to fix this problem would be to allow each fighter to have its own global ammunition pool, whether you choose to fire, let's say 2,000 rounds through one ballistic weapon or 5 ballistic weapons. The ammo is linked to the ship rather than the gun itself by caliber. And I think that would be a very interesting way to balance the weapons ballistically. I think that would be an interesting way to do it. So we'll see what happens there. But that's my 2 cents for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the love and support all of you who have shown me and the rest of us here at the squadron. You know, I really wish I could explain to you guys how awesome it's been, that so much positivity and love has come from all of you folks, and great discussions and lots of good stuff, man. So feel free to join the Discord. Feel free to stop by the stream, say hi to the co-pilot, and just get involved with the process, right? And again, just get 1% better today than you did yesterday. Don't compare yourself to where people are now. Take the opportunity to learn. Get yourself in the seat flying. Enjoy the process. Fall in love with the process of flying. And I promise you, you will see this game in a new way, and you will see it the way I do. It's a beautiful experience, even though it's still in development, and it's there to be shared, and it's there for you guys to get a hold of. And I think if you put these rules and you put these tips to good use, and you get out there and you have a great attitude, I swear to God, you're going to have an incredible time. So thank you so much for all the love and support, guys. I'll see you next time. Take a look at Predator mounts if you're interested in stick mounts, and use the code Avenger1 if you want a discount. And hope to see you guys all out there. Thank you so much. I was Avenger1, and I'll see you next time.